Let's all join hands and rejoice today, America, because the national nightmare is over. Cracker Barrel has relented. Your voice has been heard. Cracker Barrel will be going back to the logo that it's had since 1977, the one that we all know and recognize. You can't bring back the good feelings that people had before this entire whole chain of events unfolded. You have done the one thing that I didn't think was possible. You have united people across the entire political spectrum. This is the Ricky Cobb Show, presented by Prize Picks. Preseason football is, well, let's face it, kickoff of the pro season is almost upon us. Just a week from tomorrow, college football's underway. The best way to enjoy the action this season is on Prize Picks. So get over there, download the app. Cracker Barrel Saga. Who knew that a just country restaurant that your grandparents have enjoyed for years, maybe you enjoy it as well. Maybe you're a grandparent now yourself. But I remember going to Cracker Barrel with my family when I was a kid. And obviously it's a very beloved chain of restaurants for a lot of people. And we certainly found that out when they changed the logo, dumping Uncle Herschel and his Cracker Barrel from the logo and replacing it with a rather antiseptic, generic logo that didn't seem to please anybody. Well, let's all join hands and rejoice today, America, because the national nightmare is over. Cracker Barrel has relented. Your voice has been heard. Cracker Barrel will be going back to the logo that it's had since 1977, the one that we all know and recognize. And for many people, obviously, apparently, they love this fucking thing. Right here is the tweet from Cracker Barrel. We thank our guests for sharing your voices and your love for Cracker Barrel. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain. At Cracker Barrel, it's always been and always will be about serving up delicious food, yada, yada, yada. As a proud American institution, please don't hate us for the terrible mistake that we've made. We would like you to come and eat pancakes here again, rather than despising us for the terrible, terrible, terrible decision that we made and that has cost us a lot of money. And we would like to stop the hemorrhaging by saying Uncle Al, Uncle Herschel. You can stop twisting our arm now. You got the logo back. So there you go, a win for the grassroots movement for Cracker Barrel to bring back the logo. Now, are people completely happy? No, they're not. The CEO, there she is. There's the lady that wrought this havoc. And you can see the tweet, speaking for a lot of people. Jeremy Prime says, now fire your CEO and we'll all come back. There she is, a screenshot of her explaining why the terrible logo was a good idea. And nobody was buying it, lady. And I think this is still going to leave a mark for Cracker Barrel. You can bring back the logo. You can't bring back the good feelings that people had before this entire whole chain of events unfolded. But the CEO, I wonder how long she's going to last. How long do you give it? You think she'll still be the Cracker Barrel CEO by December the 31st? Only thing missing here with the shame that this lady has experienced is Doug Llewellyn waiting for her with a microphone in the lobby to make her feel like a complete piece of shit. So how does it feel to know that your idea that you told everybody was a great idea is actually the worst idea ever? Do you feel as dumb as you look? Doug Llewellyn was great at that. You have a bad day in the People's Court, Judge Wapner chews you out. You lose in front of a television audience syndicated in the afternoon. Charlie Babbitt is probably watching you at home. And then Doug Llewellyn just puts the icing on the cake by crapping all over you. So look.
10 minutes to Wapner. 10 minutes to Wapner.
As with everything, as with everything that we have in society, when's Wapner again? Do we know? It's very important.
10 minutes to Wapner.
Because
10 minutes to Wapner.
Tim, you know I've got a little bit of that in my genetics too because of my who am I prowess. I am the Charlie Babbitt of this program after all. Look, it is 2025 and everything must be seen through the prism of politics. Those are just the rules in American society. I didn't make them. I don't like them. That's just the way the world works now. And so CNN saying Cracker Barrel will return to its old logo after days of intense right-wing backlash. And I don't know, maybe the right wing will embrace this one. This is one that if CNN wants to put it on the right wing, they'll take credit. But the Democrats say not so fast. You're not going to give the credit to the Republicans for this one because the Democrats themselves, don't take my word for it, the Democrats account tweeting, we think the Cracker Barrel rebrand sucks too. Cracker Barrel, in fact, we probably should all thank Cracker Barrel. There are people out there who are suggesting that Cracker Barrel is playing chess and the rest of us are playing checkers. Although we all know that Uncle Herschel looks completely like a checkers player. Probably with the checkerboard on top of that fucking barrel, in fact. I don't think Cracker Barrel is playing three-dimensional chess here. People have always speculated that New Coke, when was it, 1985? Something like that. I think I was a freshman in high school when Coca-Cola changed their formula and they went to something that tasted a lot more like Pepsi, and everybody took a sip and said, what the fuck is this? And Coca-Cola relented pretty quickly, rebranding regular Coke as Coca-Cola Classic and trying to continue to pass off the nasty sugar water that was the new Coke formula for a while before eventually just giving up and going back to the original formula. And a lot of people believe, well, you know what? They did that on purpose. What a marketing campaign that was. What a stroke of genius that was. Now, I don't know what Coca-Cola was doing, but I can tell you after listening to Cracker Barrel's CEO for a while, that wasn't the game that she was playing. She stepped into a cow pie and got shit all the way up to her kneecaps, and now is being rescued by the fact that they're doing the only thing they can do is they're taking a mulligan on the entire rebrand. And I don't think it was planned, and I don't think it made anybody happy. So Cracker Barrel, the one thing I will say to you guys is you have done the one thing that I didn't think was possible. You have united people across the entire political spectrum in this country in coming together and saying your new rebranding idea sucked and you can take it back to from whence it came. We all want the regular logo back. Conservatives, liberals, moderates alike. And so maybe you have provided a little bit of a service for this country. It's gotten me thinking, just about the broader picture in this country of we're losing good things. It's like, why can't we have nice things anymore? We talked about it on the program a little bit earlier this week. Cracker Barrel is just the latest into the descent aesthetically of a lot of different familiar restaurants. McDonald's, it ain't what it used to be. Pizza Hut, as I am famously on the record many times over, it ain't what it used to be. Look at Taco Bell. Look at the Taco Bell that you grew up with and just the soulless fucking Taco Bell now. Everything now is just a rectangular building with one or two little logos on it. Look at the Pizza Hut. And that Pizza Hut on the right there, as shitty as it is, most Pizza Huts are in strip malls now. You can't even dine in. You just walk up to the counter and pick up your pizza. We've lost so much here. McDonald's, man, come on. McDonald's back in the 80s or the 90s, if you were a kid, 70s, 80s, 90s, going to McDonald's was a big fucking deal. And we've lost a lot of, I don't know, in the pursuit of ruthless efficiency, sometimes you lose the art and the beauty. We also looked at this, sports logos. Let's talk about that for a minute. If we want to talk about rebrandings that weren't upgrades, There's a lot of professional sports teams that I can point to. And the Miami Dolphins are one of them here. We used to be a proper nation. How about that logo? Well, God bless, it's behind me every day on this program on the wall. The brilliance that is Peter Good's masterpiece, the Hartford Whalers logo. We lost the Whalers to Carolina back in the 90s. Look at that Cincinnati Reds logo. Look at that sweet bastard. Will you? That is the Cincinnati Reds logo that all other Cincinnati Reds logos must answer to. Can we bring that guy back? I want to see him out there a little bit. That makes me think of Pete Rose and Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench and Tony Perez and Ken Griffey and Cesar Geronimo and Danny Dreesen and on down the line. How about this
Foster.
Texas Rangers logo? Yes. Can I get a George Foster as well? Thank you, Ronnie. That was an egregious oversight on my part. Dave Concepcion as well. Let's name check the entire lineup, lest I leave anybody out. Look at that. Anytime you get a baseball with a cowboy hat on it, why would you possibly want to fuck with that? Look at that thing. Just look at it. 70s and 80s, among other great things about them, were the golden age of sports logos, in my opinion. Don't believe me? Look at that baby. Look at those white cleats in the logo. The swinging A's, babe. 3 World Series wins in a row, 72, 73, 74. And they look damn good doing it as well. And so many logos that we've lost. Now, the Brewers had the good sense to finally bring this one back, but they went a long time without it. I can tell you that. You remember the one with the M and like a piece of barley or wheat or whatever the fuck that was? Ron, I'm not a beer guy. Is it wheat that was on it? And of course, you know, the greatest logos stand the test of time, just like this one that is in every woman in America over the age of 60 has this set somewhere, or at least that was the case when I was growing up. I mean, logos are all about recognition. They're all about familiarity. And when you have an iconic logo, why would you want to change it? Change for the sake of change is not progress. Never mistake activity for achievement, my friends. And much like Michael Jordan signaled to the world when he made his return to the NBA in 1995, so too now in 2025, 30 years later, Uncle Herschel is back as well, the old timer, as they call him. And look at the focus. You can tell that now that he's back, he's truly given nothing to chance. Michael Jordan won 3 championships in a row after declaring that he was back. Uncle Herschel looks like he's ready to go out and pursue some championships as well. We'll see how quickly people forgive Cracker Barrel, but certainly the best step that they could have taken in this direction was to just blow it all up and go back to the way that it was. Democrats and Republicans and people that don't vote or give a shit, everybody is happy today. My friends, very excited. We have a new, brand spanking new, all to ourselves YouTube channel now, and it is the Ricky Cobb Show. Simply enough, head over to YouTube, look for the Ricky Cobb Show. That's the address right there on the screen below me. Type that in, click subscribe, and you will be locked and loaded for all of our content. All Ricky Cobb Show content is now going to be housed on our own channel. That way, you're getting everything conveniently in one place. We're going to be categorizing the content as we go forward, archiving the shows. We'll certainly have a lot of material from the past year that we're going to be uploading in the coming weeks, interviews with legends and things of that nature. If you are already subscribed on the Outkick channel, please note that you will need to go and subscribe here also, because this is an entirely different channel, so it's going to require a different subscription. So the Ricky Cobb Show on YouTube, please subscribe today and you'll be set for all of our great content. Now, also, Prize Picks. It's simple to play, and all you have to do is make player projections on 2 to 6 more or less questions. For instance, how many yards do you think that Saquon Barkley is going to go for this season? There's going to be a number on Prize Picks, and you're going to have to decide if you think Saquon is going to go for more yards than that or less yards than that. Maybe you're looking at Lamar Jackson's touchdown total for this year. Is he going to go more? Is he going to go less? You make 2 to 6 player stat projections, such as those examples. And if you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into money on Prize Picks. And best yet, when you download the Prize Picks app, just enter my code Ricky, R-I-C-K-Y, and you'll get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 in lineups. That's right, $50 in lineups with code Ricky once you have played your initial $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. And Bill Belichick is running his game in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And Bill Belichick, we know that Bill Belichick's got game. All we have to do is look at the fact that he's dating a woman that's 1/3 his age. We're all still amazed that it's occurring. But the latest news from Planet Belichick is that his company has now filed a trademark for Gold Digger. The filing made just a couple of days ago claims that Bill intends to launch Gold Digger brand jewelry. I'm sure Jordan Hudson has absolutely nothing to do with this, right? Fellas, this was all Bill's idea, right? In between scheming for ACC teams, Bill just thinking he's going to get into the jewelry business here. And if you told me 5 years ago that Bill Belichick was going to start a jewelry brand, I would have called you crazy. And only 3 years ago, Sean McVay and Les Snead, the general manager of the Los Angeles Rams, thought that Bill Belichick was crazy when they took Cole Strange in the first round, offensive lineman with the 29th pick. I want you to reflect back on the reaction of Sean McVay and Les Snead in real time as the Patriots announced their selection of Cole Strange, who was just waived this week.
Really?
Just went.
Oh, my UT Chattanooga to the first round. Hey, where is...
How about that? And we wasted our time watching him thinking he'd be at 104 maybe.
That's cold, is what that is. I mean, I guess when you've got 6 Super Bowls and 2 more with the New York Giants, maybe criticisms can roll off your back. But I suppose the reaction there of McVay and the GM, well, maybe they're not completely surprised that Cole Strange is out of a job in New England after only 3 years there with the team. And with that, I welcome to the program the man who is known worldwide as the international streaming star. Joining me from Nashville, Tennessee, as always, he is Ronnie T-Shirts. And Ronnie, Cracker Barrel just going full bore, forced to admit that they made a terrible error, and they're doing the thing that I would argue you'd never want to do in a situation like this, which is just basically admit that you got pantsed in front of the world.
Have you ever heard of a focus group?
I have indeed.
They're super
Yes,
common for companies to hire other companies to do focus groups for them when they want to introduce a new product, when they want to change their logo, when they want to change their color scheme, when they want to introduce a new character on a TV show. Companies are out there to do this for you. Why would Cracker Barrel not do focus groups before they did this? They would have found that answer out through a focus group. This absolutely makes no sense, Ricky.
Well, they gathered together a room full of 23-year-old people with septum piercings and 7 different colors of hair.
Gauges.
And all of those people in the focus group said, we think we like the new thing. Look, Democrats have spoken out. They said, hey, you're not going to give the Republicans all of the credit for this. Everybody hates it. I really do think it's hard. We've talked about on this program before. It's hard to get anywhere near a unanimous consensus in this country on anything. We've said that there are some celebrities that sort of like walk that tightrope to where they're popular with almost everyone, but those are pretty few and far between today. Cracker Barrel managed to get everybody on the same page. That's how you know that you've had a really, really bad idea. And I don't think the CEO, I really hope that she doesn't try to spin it that this was all a part of some genius plan, because you've talked about New Coke before. Right. I don't think that these folks at Cracker Barrel were so far ahead of the game that they saw all of this coming and decided that they were going to make some kind of incredibly brilliant strategic play here.
Yeah, I will say the one positive thing they're going to get out of this is, no publicity is bad publicity in the long run, right? So everybody's heard this name Cracker Barrel over and over and over and over and over again. And at some point, this whole story is going to die down and life's going to go back to normal. And it's going to be 3 months from now or 6 months from now or 2 years from now. And somebody's going to be driving by and they're going to be like, Cracker Barrel. Like, it's on their mind and they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to go to Cracker Barrel. So it's not all a loss for them, because they are definitely getting that name out there. It'll be interesting to see what the short term effect is on this. But again, I've talked about it so much. I got to be honest with you, man. I don't know very many people that go to Cracker Barrel. Like I don't know the last time I went.
And you live in Nashville, dude.
It's not even on my radar as like something that we might do. Like there's a lot of restaurants I have in my head or I've bookmarked on Instagram that, I want to try that at some point. Cracker Barrel's not one of them. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, they're on the tip of everybody's tongue. They at least have that going for themselves. Yep. Uncle Herschel, the old timer, is back. But Ronnie, it's time to say goodbye to Ralphie the Sixth, because this is the mascot of the Colorado Buffaloes, although Ralphie the Sixth is actually a bison named Ember. That's Ralphie the Sixth is just his stage name.
Identifies as a female bison.
I don't know the gender of this bison, Ron, but I can tell you that an indifference to running, quote unquote, is the reason that has contributed to the retirement. The school is now training Ralphie the Seventh for herd abuse. So I guess this is a female. I don't know. I don't know if all the Ralphies are girls or what's happening. But Ember just was not a big fan of running. The Robinson Cano of bison here, apparently, just not really interested in running it out all the way. Not a lot of Pete Rose energy, apparently, here for this animal.
Yeah,
so now it's retirement.
I too have an indifference to running at this point in my life. So I feel Ralphie. Or Ember.
I have an indifference to walking some days. Can we all get out of our jobs? Is there like a retirement package for bison? Can we all just express an indifference to our job and get to immediately retire and go live the good life? It seems to me, I don't know what happens. Maybe Ralphie the Sixth is going to end up being beef jerky now.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'd be
what
bison
happens
jerky.
To you?
Bison jerky.
Ted's.
Yeah, even healthier. In fact, well, you know what's healthy, Ron? Healthiest thing that a lot of people do every day, they tell me it's an important part of their maintenance, is they sit back, they relax, they grab their snacks, and they wait for me to say that it's time for America's Poll of the Day. Let's go to it now. It's Super 70 Sports on X, where the Eagle flies high. And then the eagle never expresses an indifference for flying by and dropping off 4 good things, unlike that lazy fucking bison in Boulder, Colorado. Hope you're happy, Ember. Enjoy your retirement. I've got 4 goodies for us today, Ron, and I like all 4 of these myself personally, and I trust that there's a good chance that you're probably going to like at least a couple of them. Let's go through it. We have Peanuts, the comic strip. You know, I normally don't like to have to put an explanation of it, but with Peanuts, I didn't see there was any other way around it. We've got Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, a man that is on my personal Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. Margaritaville, and, you know, get the fuck out of here if you don't know what Margaritaville is. And then finally, robbing a home run. So, Ronnie, take these 4 good things and break them down for me as only you can.
I feel like you make these polls just so you can berate me with my commentary.
Well, it's subconscious, Ron, if that's the case, but I wouldn't doubt that, you know, if a psychiatrist got me on a couch, there's probably me wanting to test your communism baked into my psyche somewhere at this point.
Okay, so there's 2 of these that I at least like. Tell me which ones you think I at least like.
That I think you at least like.
Yeah, at least like, because 2 of
Margaritaville and robbing a home run.
Nope. Okay, so robbing a home run.
Peanuts and robbing a home run.
Yes, robbing a home run is just badass. Absolutely badass. Peanuts, I'm going to put them at the like, not love. Yes, they amused me as a kid. Funny. I was more like, if I think back to comics that I like things that are I guess smarter or more edgy. Like I really like Calvin and Hobbes. I like The Far Side, stuff like that. But I definitely nothing wrong with Peanuts at all. Dusty Rhodes, really indifferent to Dusty Rhodes, Ricky. I don't like him. I don't dislike him. I just you know, again, I'm not a wrestling guy, and I liked you know, I like Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and I don't know. I don't really think I don't know. Margaritaville. You
don't want to get funky like a monkey, baby?
No.
If you will. No? All right.
I cannot stand Jimmy Buffett, so there's that.
Oh my God. You're not a fan of the coral reefers?
Yeah, dude. I'm not what am I not, a parrot head or something stupid like that? Is that what they're called?
You are not a parrot. You're not a parrot head. That's what they call themselves.
No. Jimmy Buffett is corny. His fans are corny. Yeah. Hard pass. So I'm going to go robbing a home run.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's bring in producer Tim here to get his thoughts on this. Tim,
a lot of agreement today.
All right.
Ron. Wow.
Oh boy,
wow.
Don't make me dislike both of you.
Hold on, let me fix my hair. Hold on.
Oh my God. Oh.
Who's that guy? Get it up his nostril.
Oh my God.
I'm totally with you, Ron. Jimmy Buffett, like, never got it, never will. Storyteller, not a singer. I don't even like that channel on XM as much as I'm a flip-flops and t-shirt and margarita guy. Like, fuck that guy. I know he's dead. So now I'm going to have some real hate mail coming in.
Oh my God, guys, this is escalating.
Tim, I disagree with.
Defend Jimmy Buffett.
Hey, fuck him when he was alive too. Fuck him when he was alive too. Who cares?
Oh my.
I just didn't. I get it. I understand 50 million albums and all that other stuff. Good vibes. He was a good dude. So I don't want to curse the dead.
He liked his with ketchup and tomato, fellas.
Yeah.
French fried
in Paradise. Yeah. Dusty Rhodes. He's the second for me. Peanuts, the comic strip. I'll admit, and I was thinking very singular about the newspaper, the comic strip. But if you were talking Peanuts, sort of in general, and some of the cartoons, maybe I would have voted for it. But I'm still with Ron, man. Good to be in agreement with you, buddy. Although I think Texas is going to win this weekend. Maybe not. I'm going to go robbing a home run.
All right. Well, All right, look, I'll go through these quickly. I'm a huge Peanuts fan. If you look at my bookcase, I've got like all the daily comics from the 50s, I think through the 80s, and a bunch of Peanuts books, biography. I've been to the Charles Schulz Museum in Napa, California, Tim, or Santa Rosa. It's in Santa Rosa.
Good to know.
And they've got his studio set up the way that it used to be, and I enjoyed that. So I'm a huge Peanuts guy, always have been. Dusty Rhodes, as I said, he's one of my very favorites of all time. Charismatic. The guy's one of the best to ever do. One of the greatest baby faces ever to do it. The guy, he was just a big fat load.
I was going to say, he didn't look athletic. That's why I didn't like him. He was just always sort of chunky.
He didn't have a great look, but he just was oozing charisma from every
Good forearm, from what I remember. He's a good forearm guy.
The elbow. The bionic elbow, Tim.
Yeah,
he would just put it right on top of your head. It would paralyze you temporarily.
Maybe that's what happened to me.
Pinfall. And nobody ever got more nobody ever got more out of a lisp than Dusty Rhodes. He's the coolest guy with a lisp who's ever lived. Margaritaville, look, here's what I would say to this. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the biggest Jimmy Buffett fan in the world, but I feel like I got to push back on the fuck him in death and fuck him in life.
I took back my curse on him. I took back my curse.
I keep mine.
He was friends with Kenny Stabler, which alone is worth something. And he had a song called "Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw." I don't know if either of you guys are familiar with that.
Familiar.
I'm going to change it today to "Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw You Guys," because Jimmy Buffett was pretty good at what he did. I'm going to give him a thumbs up, even if I'm not his number one super fan. And then finally, robbing a home run. My buddy Jay and I, we used to go and try to set up against a fence somewhere or against the neighbor's house. I had a neighbor named Doc Rock that I think I might have mentioned on this program at some point. If I haven't, it's long overdue. I mean, imagine the guy that lives next to you, Tim, when you're a child, is a dude named Doc Rock, which is a true story. And we would go over, nice guy, and we would, he had like the brick and where the siding on his house converged, it was like about 8 feet tall. So it was kind of perfect for us. So we would go over and we would throw rubber balls at the side of his house and try to rob them. So robbing a home run is always the
real
fantasy
quick,
of a kid.
Guys, real quick before we reveal, one of my big pet peeves is when I'm watching highlights and they claim that somebody robbed a home run, and it's so clear that had he not gotten the guy hadn't got his glove there, the ball would have come down still inside the field of play. Drives me insane when they're like, "Oh my God, he just robbed a home run." It's like, he did not rob a home run. It happens so often, but I still love.
He robbed a double.
He robbed a double. Like, I still love, but if it's a real home run, love it.
Not as exciting. Yeah. Denzel Clark of the Oakland A's has made a couple of incredible catches this year that you can look up on X. But anyway, with that said, I'm going to vote for Peanuts here. I like all of these things. And Dusty Rhodes, I'm a huge Dusty Rhodes guy. So most days I probably would have voted for him against the other three things. But Charles M. Schulz is the GOAT, in my opinion. So I got to go with Charlie Brown and Snoopy in the gang.
Not bad.
Ooh, we got a pretty good one going today, fellas.
Not bad.
Is it just me, or are we getting closer to the pen consistently now than we used to? We're on a pretty good run.
Are you using ChatGPT, Ricky? I have to bring you up. Gonna have to add you to the one a week prompt and the ChatGPT library. You clearly have figured it out. Holy shit! No, good call. I know you're not. I know it's a labor of love. I know Ron contributes a ton. You're right. We're on a bit of a stretch here, and I love it. I think it speaks to just
except for yesterday. Except for yesterday was a runaway.
Yeah.
Look at this. Yeah, yesterday wasn't the best example. It's a tie. When's the last time that we had a tie for first place? I think this is a first. Temporarily, for at least a moment, when this screenshot was taken, it was deadlocked.
Yeah, I'll check.
Dusty Rhodes in third place, Margarita bringing
Yeah.
up the rear, as both of you gentlemen obviously.
Right.
I will say the thing about
all kidding aside, I don't want to curse. I know there was such a global outpouring when he passed, but it is interesting to see he's last place here for the four of us.
look at
I
you
just don't
walking
want
it back like
I don't want lightning to strike me.
Tim's,
I don't want
Tim's Cracker Barrel. Tim's like, upon reflection, we here at Cracker Barrel think that it was a bad idea to damn the
curse the
soul
dead.
of the deceased Jimmy Buffett. Yeah.
the pirate. He is the
We would
pirate.
like
So
We would like to take it back. Look at you trying to be nice now. It's too late to be nice and like say that he was the pirate after this. It's already
I stand
gone
by
out
all my
to at least
takes.
Dozens of people have heard
son of
this
a son
by
of a
now,
sailor,
guys.
right? What is it? Son of a son of
Yeah.
a sailor. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Ron,
of my
stay true,
daughters
man.
got
I
her
like it.
middle name from a Jimmy Buffett song, in fact. Delaney. He had a song called Delaney Talks to Statues. And my ex-wife wanted to make that the middle name of my second daughter. And so we did. So there's a little time there. I will say this about Margaritaville. One, that's my favorite beverage. So if there was ever any place that I was going to waste away, it would in fact be Margaritaville. And two, I will say the one thing that annoys me about that song is when you're out somewhere in a bar and he says, I'm looking for my lost shaker of salt. And if you guys know where I'm going with this,
Yeah.
they yell salt. Where's the fucking salt? I could do without that, but I can't really hold that against Jimmy Buffett. Fellas, I will hold this against Travis Kelce. Have you seen his new American Eagle ad? We've just now barely gotten past the outrage and debate over Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad. And now here comes Travis Kelce with his own. Let's take a look.
Smooth.
There he is. Looks like he's going to play tennis with the Underhills here, Ron. That's a look that's known as the 1990 douchebag, I believe. That's how I remember. That's how I remember it. I say this is, and I like Travis Kelce. So I want to be clear. Travis Kelce, I got nothing against Travis Kelce. I like the Kelce brothers. But what Travis has been doing style-wise and with his haircuts and stuff here for a while, I don't know how I feel about it. Can we get a look at that logo again real quickly? I will say that his logo is legible. Let's take a look there he is.
There was my girlfriend gave me a sweater like that from Banana Republic in the 90s. You're spot on, dude.
Yeah. Bro, I had something that looked like that right around.
Did she give one to Thurman Thomas
myself.
too?
No, different girlfriend. Where's the logo? I missed the logo here. she gave him more than a sweater.
I think it's
Ron.
coming up. It was somewhere. Where was it? I saw it earlier. Maybe we cut it. Maybe we cut it out. I was going to.
Jared took it off. He didn't know what it was. See this? A young man who doesn't
Yeah.
understand the value of logos.
Yeah.
We'll dig it
Let's
up for
take
you.
the
Stand
logo
by.
off the logo theme show here. But yeah, it's legible, unlike some people's logos. I was just going to take an opportunity to crack on Caitlin Clark a little bit there because, I kind of feel like this has been a week for logos, has it not? But I don't know. I feel like I need a personal logo now. I need like an interlocking R and C or just a bunch of shapes that don't look anything like an R and a C, Ron. If I'm Nike, that might be how they would approach the problem.
You have a great logo, the baseball man. That's you.
Well, yes.
Look at that. See, that is what a logo is supposed to do. It's supposed to convey a feeling. It's supposed to convey, I know what this is about just by looking at it. And that's what that logo does. Even if you took the Super 70s off of it and just had the baseball man, you clearly know that it's something about the 70s. So kudos on a great logo.
Well, thank you, sir. And there's the Travis Kelce logo. So, I can see that it's a T and a K. It would work on a baseball cap. Isn't that the standard? That's not too bad. So, pretty good week for Travis Kelce. We poke a little fun at him, but he got the girl. He's got his own line of clothing. It's Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce's world, and the rest of us are just living in it at this point, gentlemen. But with that said, we're going to take a break right now. We got a lot more good stuff ahead for you, but the party will continue when we come back as Silvy from Waddle and Silvy here on ESPN 1000 in Chicago. The great Mark Silverman is going to join me. We'll talk about the Bears, the Cubs, and maybe even what's wrong with the White Sox. And boy, are there things wrong with the White Sox. It'll all happen straight ahead right here, right after this on the Ricky Cobb Show.
This fall, you're not just watching the biggest game in college football, you're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27th, Athens.
Outkick's giving one lucky fan and a guest the VIP treatment.
This is your shot
to punch your ticket to the college football weekend of a lifetime.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
We're also hooking up 10 more fans with Outkick hats, and everyone who enters gets a discount to the Outkick shop.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit outkick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. Outkick.com/sweepstakes.
My guest today is a man who got me through a lot of commutes when I was a community college professor on my way to Moraine Valley Community College in Palos Hills, Illinois. He is an institution in Chicago sports radio, the co-host of Waddle and Silvy on ESPN 1000 Chicago. My pleasure to welcome to the program Mark Silverman. Mark, how are you?
The feeling is mutual, and you've gotten me through a lot of dark days with your humor. And I know we've had you on the show before, and I jumped at the opportunity, Ricky.
Well, Silvy, it's a pleasure to have you on. And as I said, I mean, been a fan of yours for many years. Double A washout is a phrase that means something to me. I've been around for a few minutes. I still believe that Waddle was singing the jingle for Scott Peterson Meats as well, by the way, going back a lot of years. I remember passing Cog Hill on my way to the college and just laughing my ass off that day. You guys have been entertaining us here in Chicago for a long time. I appreciate you for it. Silvy, obviously, this time of year, no matter how things are going with our baseball teams, and things are going pretty well on the north side, and we'll talk about the south side in a moment, it becomes Bears time in this town. And obviously with Ben Johnson here now, there is a lot of optimism, but you know, we've seen this script before. I remember when Mark Trestman, the quarterback whisperer, arrived. I remember when John Fox arrived. And, you know, there have been times where we've thought that we had this situation. Maybe we were about to get a handle on things. Obviously, a lot of expectations here, not only for Ben Johnson, but for Caleb Williams in year 2. What are your thoughts as you look at the prospects for this 2025 Bears team?
Yeah, I think we'll start with the coach, because that's where you led me, Ricky, is there has been hope before. I mean, that's what we do here in Chicago. We're hopeful. It's not New York. It's not Philadelphia. In Chicago, it's the big city with sometimes a small town optimism. And the difference that I believe with Ben Johnson is this is truly a guy who owns his own playbook. He was the head coach of the offense with the Lions. He built the offense from the ground up. He's not Matt Nagy, who came here with just a handful of games calling plays and running Andy Reid's playbook. It's Ben Johnson with Ben Johnson's playbook. And then we were wondering, could he command a room? Would he be able to take the next step as a head coach? Everything that I've seen firsthand in these training camp practices, watching these games, seeing the press conferences, hearing what the players have to say, is he is truly fulfilling what we've wanted him to do, and that's hold the Bears accountable. So I think from the head coach standpoint, they're on their way. Talent standpoint, a lot of things still need to happen. I think they're going to be better. I'm fucking scarred, Ricky. I'm not going to take them to go over. So I'm still thinking 8 wins. I could see a 9-win season. The total is 8.5. I could see them winning 10 games, but I'm not going to fall for it like I've fallen for before.
Yeah, something about being a Bears fan. grounds you in reality, I think, and you're speaking to that. What did you think of year one of Caleb Williams? Obviously, we got a new situation here with Ben Johnson, and as you said, a guy who knows what he's doing and should be able, on paper at least, to help get the very best out of Caleb Williams. There was some criticism that, Jaden Daniels was the belle of the ball last year, and those direct comparisons of Caleb Williams to Jaden Daniels obviously weren't real flattering to Caleb, but at the same time, there were causes for optimism. The interceptions were very low. Obviously too many sacks, but overall, what did you see from Caleb in year one? And as we look forward, I want you to address this as well. I'm sure you've probably heard what Ryan Clark had to say, that, if Caleb doesn't perform well this year, I'd like you to speak to that, because he invoked the name of Anthony Richardson, which is doing Caleb dirty, in my estimation, Silvy.
I agree. And I like Ryan, but I think he went over the top here. But I think that's sort of the product of the system these days, with who can out hot take everybody else on all these shows. I was watching that live when Ryan said that on First Take. And Ryan has been to Ryan's credit, I don't want to speak for him, but from what I've played and what I've watched from Ryan, he's been in Caleb's corner. But this is just an over the top thing. This is a quarterback in Indy who was never producing. It was all on projections in college. Caleb Williams was the exact opposite. Caleb Williams was always the guy who people thought of had all the tools. Caleb Williams produced statistically on the field. His last year at USC could have gone better from a wins-loss standpoint. But I really believe that he is already setting the floor last year way above where we've seen Anthony Richardson. So, and getting back to your first topic, it depends who you talk to. If you talk to somebody who says, well, Caleb Williams, he ran into a lot of sacks. He held onto the ball too long. I understand that. To me, what he went through, and the best analogy that I've used is, this is like taking a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old and saying, hey, learn how to swim, and throwing him into the Atlantic Ocean with a bunch of riptides. This isn't just throwing a kid into the deep end. This isn't just throwing a kid into a lake. This is throwing a kid into the worst rip current and say, swim. Who the hell is going to be able to swim during that? You had Matt Eberflus as your head coach. You had a terrible offensive line. You had Shane Waldron, who was the first guy to go, and he still threw for almost 3,600 yards. He still, as you mentioned, had interceptions that were very low. Granted, he could be better, of course, but he was never developed. So they're ripping it down. They're trying to develop him again. It will be ugly at times, but I still believe in the Caleb Williams talent, and I still believe with Ben Johnson, he is going to be a very good quarterback in the NFL.
Silvy, the flip side of Ben Johnson is the Detroit Lions obviously don't have him running their offense anymore, and what a juggernaut the Lions were. Of course, they lost their defensive coordinator as well. This division is so loaded, though. You look at the Lions, who certainly I expect to be very, very, very good. The Packers are shaping up to be very good. The Vikings are coming off of a terrific season. Obviously, we've got J.J. McCarthy under center now in Minnesota. What are your thoughts as you look at this NFC North and sort of handicap the other three teams in this division that the Bears are going to see so much of this year?
All really good. And I think you touched on all of them. I think the Vikings, if they had an established quarterback, would be a Super Bowl favorite. I think their roster is that good, but we got to see about J.J. McCarthy. Which Jordan Love are we going to get in Green Bay? And then you hit the point about the offensive and defensive coordinators in Detroit. I still think they've got a ton of talent. But just to play on your point, before Ben Johnson took over as the offensive coordinator in Detroit, people forget Anthony Lynn was their offensive coordinator, and he did not do well. And they replaced him with a young up-and-comer in Ben Johnson. So it will be interesting to see what the coordinators do. I still think Detroit's the class. I think Green Bay is going to take a step back. I think the Vikings are still going to be very good. I just played their over the other day on, I think it was 8.5 or 9.5. I forget which one. I like either one, and you'll get more value at 9.5. Their skill guys are too good for JJ McCarthy to just flat out fail. I love their play caller as well. And I think the Bears will be in the mix anywhere in the, third, fourth. If they overachieve, who knows? I don't think they're going to win the division because it is so good. And they've got a tough schedule, Ricky. Like, that's the other part of this is their schedule's really, really tough. They're not playing those AFC South teams that they played last year. So that's why I've got the Bears at this point at 8 wins.
All right. Well, 8 wins and some steady development from Caleb Williams. That might not be at the top of the wish list for Bears fans, but it would certainly lay a great foundation for the Ben Johnson era. I think you could argue. Go ahead. Silvy.
I was going to say, not all 8-win seasons are created equal. There are different ways you can go with here. I think by the end of the year, if we know as Bears fans that Caleb Williams is the dude and Ben Johnson has shown that he's living up to the head coach that we think he could be, I think we'll be disappointed with 8 wins, but we'll be very, very optimistic going forward, because if Caleb Williams opens the door as a franchise quarterback, then they're going to open the window for contention.
Yeah, well said. I mean, it would be great to see a Cinderella Washington Commanders style run, but let's be realistic and just hope for progress. Let's talk a little baseball, Silvy, while I've got you here. Obviously, things going pretty swimmingly on the north side overall. The Cubs would be in first place or maybe a half a game or a game out if they were in any other division. But the Milwaukee Brewers have had a pretty spectacular season to this point. The Cubs, I believe, 6.5 back as we speak. What kind of chances do you give the Cubs to potentially make some postseason noise? And do you even give them any sort of a chance to make a comeback here? 6.5 is a hell of an ask. Obviously, the way the Brewers have been playing, they're going to control that destiny if they keep playing well. But 6.5, I remember the 78 Yankees. Teams can come back. We remember the Cubs of 69. Things can change over the course of a month. What do you think about this Cubs team? Are they frisky enough that potentially we could see them go deep into the playoffs?
Yes. I do. Because it's how you're playing at the end there. And even if you do get the bye in the postseason, like the Brewers are probably going to get, we've seen some teams that don't play in that wild card not do well in the DS. And if I'm a Cubs fan, I'd still rather get the automatic bye to the DS and not play the wild card round. But the key here, Ricky, is their bats have to get going. They have been, and you use the frisky term, they're pitching, man. Their pitching has been frisky. I think over the last few weeks, their pitching has been so good. When they score 4 runs, they're 10-0. I don't know if a lot of other teams would be 10-0. And they're sub 500 when they score 3 because they haven't been scored. 4 should not be a tough number to hit, even in the postseason, especially with the bats they had. You need Tucker to return. You need Tucker to be Tucker. You need PCA. Is he going to be as hot as he was at the beginning of the season? Probably not, but he can't be what he's been lately. I thought yesterday was a really, really good start. You need Seiya to get out of the slump. You need Happ to play like Ian Happ from the last few years. Dansby Swanson's got to be the playoff player he was for the Braves. They've got talent here, Ricky, and I think there are some interesting pieces in the bullpen, but what they've done with that starting staff, Matthew Boyd, Shota, you've got a great rookie in the Rookie of the Year with Cade Horton right now. They're really good, I think. And if they peak at the right time, yes, they can make noise. And I've got a ticket, by the way. Waddle made this. He talked us into it. When they were 9-1, we bought the Cubs last week when they were playing the Brewers to still win the division. So I know, like, it's still a long shot. I'm not predicting them to win the division, but I'm going to Colorado.
Not bad though.
No, yeah. Right. And I'm taking the kids and my wife. We're going Labor Day holiday. We're going to Denver right after the show today. We're getting on a bird and we're flying to Denver, and we're going to see the Friday game and the Sunday game, and we're going to start a rally.
There you go. Road sweep of the Rockies. Sounds real good. All right. Well, Silvy, last question I have for you here is going to be about the Southsiders. And I debated what I was going to ask you. I went back and forth, and I finally settled on what is the path out of hell for the White Sox? Because really I think that's basically what it boils down to. Yeah, I really want to know.
I think it's Jerry Reinsdorf passing the baton to the Ishbia family. I think that's the path out of hell. I mean, I've always used the phrase on our show, it starts at the top. I don't believe there's any coincidence to a team and looking at their owner and how a team is run from the owner to the president to the front office. I do think the White Sox are doing better things now on a day in and day out basis. I think they've developed some pitching. I think Colson Montgomery's story is as good as any. He was in AAA, and they said, you are so bad right now in AAA, we're demoting you to Arizona. And, like, we've never heard that. They send him to Arizona, and we're like, this kid's lost. He used to be a top 50 prospect. And now they brought him up, and it worked because I think they're doing things from a process standpoint that makes sense. But if you really want to get out of hell, like you phrased it, the owner has to relent. The owner has to stop, doing what he's doing, and there's a plan in place. It's just way off into the future. Hopefully Ishbia helps with his funds. They sign some better players in free agency starting next year, and then you'll be sort of rising towards out of hell.
Yeah, I feel sorry for my Sox fan friends. When I first got to Chicago, the Burbs, back in 2003 from Kentucky, I thought I was going to break the ice with people at my college by telling them I was a Cubs fan. And they would look at me and kind of wrinkle their nose. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, there's a dynamic here. I need to understand. I've caught so much shit through the years from Sox fans, but even I have my limits in the suffering that I can stand to watch them endure. I'm not a Sox hater either. Like, a lot of people think if you're a diehard Cubs fan like I am, I mean, we air the White Sox. It's better for business when they win. I still won't hide the fact of what they do wrong and tell it like it is. But I don't wish, like, these are the same cousins and brothers and siblings and people that we root together as Bears fans. So, like, why would I want them to wish them ill will? I think it's silly, really, some of the hatred that goes back and forth between Cubs and Sox fans. Yeah, I completely agree. There's only one major league team in this city that has let me throw out the first pitch, and it's the White Sox. So shout out to the White Sox. I'm hoping you guys can find that path out of hell that Silvy has helpfully drawn a map up for you. Listen, man, I'm such a fan. Continue the great work. I've been a listener for years. I'll be a listener for years more. As I said, at this point, I still think of you as like the young guy, but you really are an institution at this point in this town. And, big fan, wish you all the best, and appreciate you making some time for us today.
Yeah, like, institution is just another definition for old. And by the way, we've got to start the campaign, Ricky, about getting you to throw out the first pitch at Wrigley. Like, to hear that you have not thrown out the first pitch at Wrigley, that we've got to I'm going to get that out there too. So, like, it's never great when it comes from the person, because then, but when it comes from your fans, me being included, we'll see what we can do.
All right, man. I've already crossed my fingers. You're a hell of a wingman to have in that endeavor.
You got it.
Silvy, thanks a lot, my brother. Take care.
Appreciate you, Ricky. Good stuff.
So, very nice conversation there with Silvy. And I got to tell you, Ron, I don't know who your drive time or morning radio dudes have been throughout your life whenever you've had a regular commute in the past, but Silvy and Waddle, those two guys definitely have gotten me through some pretty boring commutes to work through the years. So it was fun getting to talk to him. As he alluded to, Ron, our Bears enthusiasm, we've got to tamp it down a little bit. We've been through too many years with the Bears here in this town to get overly excited at this point. But Ronnie, I know that you are not waiting to get overly excited for the Ohio State national championship defense that this season is going to bring. And I know that you've got your eye on the full slate of college action tomorrow night, in fact, before you even think about that Ohio State-Texas tilt that's coming up. What are you looking at tomorrow night? And
so the biggest game,
drop a little money on a game. Give me a pick that will make me
here. So I actually need to look
off.
and see what the line is on this one. But so the biggest game in my mind tomorrow night is a Big 12, Big 10 clash of all places, Arrowhead Stadium. So University of Cincinnati is going to play Nebraska at Arrowhead Stadium. And I have to believe that this has to do something to do with Travis Kelce because, he graduated from UC. And so they're going to be playing tomorrow night. And so it's a big, interconference matchup. And the other storyline is, are you familiar with the quarterback for Nebraska? His name's Dylan Raiola. Well, he looks like Patrick Mahomes. And in fact, he's addressed this. He said, I can't get mad at God for making me look like him. But I would say to Dylan, God did not make you wear number 15 like Patrick does. So
God didn't make you get that haircut either.
Exactly. Wear those glasses. Wear those glasses.
Yeah.
Chains.
God didn't make Nebraska's color red. We'll give him that one. Patrick, at what point do we have to just admit to ourselves Patrick Mahomes is going to go with that haircut forever?
No, he got.
That's not just a passing fad.
No, he cut it in the offseason. 99% sure he cut it in the offseason.
Did he? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I haven't seen a recent photo then.
Nebraska's favored.
Say Ricky Cobb, don't criticize anybody's haircut, you vagrant.
Yeah. Nebraska's favored by 6.5. I have no idea, but if I had to, I'd take Nebraska minus the points. But yeah, so Ricky, we've got games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It is going to be awesome. I'll actually be in attendance
Ronnie,
at one,
and
I'll be watching the rest.
I remember when I was in high school and junior high, and we had games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Our high school team only played on Fridays, but I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about this, Ronnie. I know you remember it. It's good. Touchdown.
Got it. Got it.
Are kids still playing this? I hope so. I hope that we're not so locked in on our screens and all of the modern stuff that everybody's into that the time-honored tradition of paper football, I hope that it's being kept alive out there.
And you remember this, Ricky?
generation.
Do you remember this where you'd have to take your pen and put it against the table, see if it had crossed or not when there was a dispute? It was kind of like, you know, the review.
That was the chain gang.
Yeah.
That was the chain gang back in those days. And there was always one kid in your class that could make better paper footballs than anybody. There was the one dude that was just, it was like one of his main skills in life.
He could also make airplanes, paper airplanes. He could also make paper airplanes. He was a paper guy.
Yeah. He's living in a trailer park somewhere now, Ron, probably. I don't know where he ended up. But at the time, it was one of the most useful skills that any of us could have hoped for in a friend. He was a very valuable member of your cohort, the guy who could do that. All right. with that being said, we're going to go to a break now. And as we come down the home stretch, you know that there's one box that hasn't been checked yet for sure. And that is, of course, the question that I love to ask Ron around this time of the day. We'll take a look at poll replies as well. And it'll all happen straight ahead right here, right after this on the Ricky Cobb Show.
This fall, you're not just watching the biggest game in college football.
You're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27th, Athens.
Outkick's giving one lucky fan and a guest a VIP treatment
This is your shot.
to punch your ticket to the college football weekend of a lifetime.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
We're also hooking up 10 more fans with Outkick hats, and everyone who enters gets a discount to the Outkick shop.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit outkick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. Outkick.com/sweepstakes.
Welcome back to the program, my friends. As we have talked about here, we're very proud that we have our very own Ricky Cobb Show YouTube channel now. And very simply, all you have to do is head over to YouTube, find the Ricky Cobb Show. That is all together, no spaces, as YouTube addresses go. Click subscribe, and you will be locked and loaded for all of our content, conveniently located in one place. We're going to have it categorized. We're going to have things from the archives. As you know, there have been so many great interviews, for one thing, in the history of this program, and we're going to be taking a lot of the best of those and putting them up on YouTube. You're going to see us doing a lot with the place in the coming weeks, but the important thing is that we get you on board this love boat now. And the way to do that is to go to YouTube to the Ricky Cobb Show, click subscribe, and that's all there is to it. It won't take you hardly any time at all. Just note, please, that if you are already currently subscribed to the show through the Outkick channel, you need to go and subscribe to this separately in order to get alerts and to be able to access our content going forward. So the Ricky Cobb Show on YouTube, get on board. We're going places, baby, and we want you to be aboard with us. Welcome aboard, it's love. You might even find love. Imagine that. Who would have thought that I would have been the modern Captain Steubing? But perhaps I am. And right now, let's go to a man who loves to gamble, loves college football, and as we learned earlier in the program, really does not love Jimmy Buffett. I'm going to turn my head right now and ask this fella a question. And let's just know that the subtext here is I'm asking him about Jimmy Buffett too, although he has already addressed it. What the fuck, Ron?
Got a little story, Ricky, about somebody you've partnered with in the past, Topps, the baseball card trading company.
Yeah.
So last Friday, a squirrel ran out onto the field during the Red Sox-Yankees game. Okay. Well, Topps decided like that they were going to make a baseball card featuring the squirrel. So, Ricky,
known just simply as Squirrel.
This happened. Well, this happened on Friday. They revealed that they were making this card on Saturday. By Monday, it was sold out. Now, I do not have the numbers on how many they sold, but they sold it out, and they were selling it for $9 a piece.
You know, $9. That would put you almost, practically a third of the way to a Super 70s t-shirt, Ron. Why would somebody want this car? Is somebody going to put this are they going to send it to PSA and get it graded? What are we doing here? Somebody going to say, I've got the Squirrel's rookie card? So
this got me thinking, Ricky, and I'm going to put you on the spot right now. I have at least one, maybe a couple in my brain. So through the years, what kind of weird things have happened during sporting events that might be worthy of a card? So the first one that came to my mind, I'm pretty sure happened in Chicago. Remember that fog game when it was on TV and you couldn't even see? I think they were playing the Eagles, maybe.
Bears and Eagles. That's right.
So I could see something like that, or maybe Disco Demolition Night. Like, can you think of anything that would be worthy of a card from Topps
I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing a card of some drunk guy getting tased in the outfield.
Somebody that came on the field.
That'd be all right with me.
Was it Kansas City? When the Royals, it was a father and son team that went out on the field.
They gave the first base coach like permanent hearing damage. I mean, he got assaulted. I mean,
White Sox. Yeah, White Sox.
Bad. I will say this though. That was it. That was at a White Sox game. But dude, you got a squirrel there. The squirrel is not even employed by the Yankees, and the squirrel is out there running across the field. Unlike Ralphie the Sixth out in Colorado, who is on the payroll and can't even be bothered.
Yeah.
So that's the difference in wanting it and not wanting it, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, but here's something that here's what I want to know. Who's looking out for that squirrel? Like, is he getting any royalties? Is he getting anything from this? Or are they just profiting off the back of that squirrel?
And can I say Super Sky Point to Peanut the squirrel, who was euthanized during the COVID hysteria?
You know that couple is suing. You know that couple suing whoever made that decision, like, for a lot.
All right, well, I hope that they get. Was it? Am I conflating things, tying it to COVID?
I don't think it was COVID. I think it was
completely.
No, we did a WTF
right?
on this show, and we never.
It was Joe Biden's America.
Yeah, it was Joe Biden's America. Yeah,
yeah.
I know you love that
All
one,
right.
Ricky.
Yeah. So, Sky Point to Peanut the squirrel.
So, do you eat at Chipotle?
All right. Here's my listen. You put me on a tee for this, and I'm nice enough that I won't tweet this out to the masses from Super 70s, but I'm going to throw Chipotle under the bus here, and they deserve it. I am not a huge Chipotle guy, not that impressed by it, but I do like their chips and their white queso, the queso blanco. Okay. And so I ordered
white cheese
some
for
here
those
a while
who can't.
back. Yes, for those of you who aren't as, I too am the international snacking star. So anyway, Ron, I'm eating some and I get a big chunk of chewy stuff in a bite. And I loaded a tortilla up, bro. You know what I mean? Where you go in there and you're just like, I'm going to use this thing like a shovel. And I'm chewing and I'm chewing and I'm chewing and I'm like, I'm thinking at first that it's peppers because there's peppers in there. And I'm like, I got a big chunk of pepper. It wasn't a big chunk of pepper. It was a hunk of meat that had made it in. And while I am certainly a carnivore, I don't like unexpected meat in my mouth.
That's not eggnog.
So I was left with
who does like unexpected meat in their mouth?
Nobody likes surprises of nature.
I don't know.
So I thought, well, I do know some adventurous people out there. No, look, so I thought I'm going to give this one more shot. This is a one-off or whatever. I ordered it again. Sure enough, I'm eating. I get a big chunk of something. It's meat in there. Enough with the meat surprises.
Was it cooked?
Okay, I don't need. It was. I mean, as far as I know, but it's not.
Sure, it's not a bean.
I'm ordering.
Okay,
sure, a bean didn't slip in there.
All right,
it was meat, and I'm done with it. Fuck you, Chipotle.
But
fuck
you'd be super happy. You'd be super happy if you got a bonus onion ring and a bag of fries. So
well, if I got an onion ring from Chipotle, it'd be somebody, somebody brought their lunch in, brown bagged it, and I ended up with Juanita's onion ring. But I still would have rather had that than mystery meat. In my case,
I feel like it's a lawsuit because what if I'd say a vegan couldn't have that because they couldn't have the dairy from the cheese. I don't know. What if you were allergic to meat?
People have to be excited. Can you imagine if you did get a dead animal in your food anywhere? At first you would be so grossed out and disgusted.
Then you retire.
And then you'd be so happy.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh my God, high five me. There's a mouse in my chili.
What's the worst thing? Real quick. What's the
We're going to Hawaii.
Real quick. What's the absolute worst thing? Because I know what mine is. What's the absolute realistic worst thing that you could find if you bit into a sandwich like from a restaurant? What's the worst realistic real thing that you could find?
Come.
It's not realistic.
That is realistic. That
because some people say hair. See, some people say hair. Some people say a fingernail. Mine is a used Band-Aid. If you bit into a sandwich and there was a used Band-Aid, I think that'd be the worst thing ever. All right. Anyways, Chipotle, real quick.
I think I almost gagged a little there, Ron.
Real quick.
It's unfortunate that this show didn't end about 4 minutes ago, but let's continue, shall we?
Real quick. Chipotle.
Tim's not even in my ear anymore. Tim went home. Okay.
Chipotle.
Molly went home. Everybody's calling HR.
Should I go home?
So let's just go ahead and finish this. Well, it's just you and me now. So let's just see what happens.
Is the floor mine? All right.
The floor is yours.
Chipotle has struck a deal with University of Georgia, University of Florida, and Ohio State. They are giving every single athlete, scholarship or walk-on, a card that allows them to get one meal per week for the next 15 weeks. And they're also what's that?
Well, I just said they're going to be getting protein whether they want it or not, Ron. Because apparently that's the business model.
So the funniest reply to this was from Dude Wipes, and they said, "Looks like we're going to be sending a lot more wipes to those states."
Oh my goodness, Ron! What a
poll replies,
what a time
Ricky.
to be alive. Let's go to poll replies, shall we?
But that's a company that gets it. Yeah. And they're not afraid to take some lumps.
Yeah, they're very social media savvy, no doubt about it. Jason says there's only one acceptable answer. There he is. I'm telling you right now. I follow a Instagram account called No Context Dusty, and they just post little clips of his promos through the years.
The knee pads were great. I forgot about the old.
I'd like to
Never
see
get
you in that
tired of
outfit,
it.
Ricky.
Well,
Black and polka dot.
There's still time.
Jumpsuit.
There's still time to change our bet for the football gambling, Ron. Jeff says robbing a home run is the most electric play in baseball. If you vote for anything else, you are a soy boy beta male.
Oh gosh.
You know what my counterpoint to that is? I got a counterpoint to this, Jeff. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And yes, I was doing the dance too. So take that,
Charlie
Jeff.
Brown.
We'll agree to disagree. And there, just look at him. You don't know what hard times are, Daddy. Them's hard times.
Good grief, Ricky.
Dusty roads.
Is Dusty still with us?
He is not, sadly. He has passed on. His son, however, is the current WWE champion, I believe, maybe he lost it to John Cena. I haven't been watching recently. But with that being said, you know what? I'm going to consider this one a finished masterpiece, not unlike Bob Ross at the end of an episode of The Joy of Painting. Ronnie, thank you, as always. My thanks to Silvy of the esteemed duo of Waddle and Silvy here in Chicago for joining me today, having a great conversation about Chicago sports. My thanks to Molly and I don't know. Who's with Molly? Molly, who's with you today? Adam and Colin. My thanks to Molly, Adam, and Colin in Nashville for being awesome, as they always are. To P.A. Jarrett for being an outstanding young man. Go Nittany Lions. And, of course, to producer Tim for being the finest producer in the entire industry. And most of all to you guys for being the finest viewers in the entire world, for that matter. And because of that, I love you, sweet bastards. You can find us, as always, at Fox Nation, outkick.com, and YouTube. The podcast is on Apple and Spotify. And you can also find us and enjoy our content on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, where you will also find me, where I'm known as Super 70 Sports, And I tweet things about sports and other things that are hopefully funny and will entertain you. Drop by, pay me a visit. I get lonely when you don't. And most importantly, as always, let's make a deal that we'll meet right back here again tomorrow when we will tee it high and let it fly with another episode of The Ricky Cobb Show.